Good evening and welcome to the Rory Talks Football channel. Thank you for coming back. Your daily Arsenal news, updates and my opinion. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. If you're new, drop a like on the video as well. It massively helps me. We are pushing towards 1,500 subscribers. Again, if you're on TikTok watching, please do click the link in my bio. Go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. The community we're building on YouTube's unbelievable. Good evening, Ross, Dusty, George, Melissa, Ernie. Good lads and lasses. Where are you sitting for the women's match? Upper tier clock end, I believe. Or it might be North Bank. I can't actually remember which one I clicked. But upper tier behind one of the goals. Good evening, Nicholas Bentner. Do make sure you get your Arsenal Monday night. It's the Champions League game Monday, I think the 1st of May. Arsenal against Wolfsburg in the Women's Champions League at the Emirates. 45,000 tickets sold already. Look, get down there. It's a cheap ticket. It'll be a good night, or it's good evening, actually. I think it's like 5:45 kickoff. But get down there. Get down there. Arteta's right toe. Good to see you. Shamake. Anyway, today, there's not a lot of news, truthfully. So we're going to deep dive a little bit into Declan Rice versus Moises Caicedo. Of course, we want both of them. That may be very difficult. So if we could only get one, who would you rather get? We're going to look at some stats. Stats don't mean everything, but they are important. Also, an update on William Saliba, on Zinchenko, a little bit about Vitor Roque, and of course, guess the Gooner. Lee, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Absolute legend. Finn, good to see you as well. So, the Saliba latest, we'll jump straight into that. This is from Football London. Despite something, I can't remember what that was. Basically, he remains unlikely to make Friday's clash with Southampton. We knew that already. He's not going to play on Friday. Even if he was close to being fit, I don't think we'd risk him for that game. Although the Gunners are thought to be assessing the issue on a daily basis. So we know it literally is a case of day-to-day assessments, which means he has to be close in some regard. It then goes on to say Arsenal are refusing to rule out the possibility that he could return for next Wednesday's crucial six-pointer with Man City. The player is also said to be willing to do whatever it takes. So it really is still a case that Arsenal are assessing it day by day, and the decision has to be made soon, right? We are literally a week away from that all-important Man City game, and a decision's got to be made, because if you want him to play, you've got to throw him back into training really like now, because he can't go into the game having not played for over a month. He can't also not have trained at all and just be thrown straight back into it. So we'll see what happens. I'm still not hopeful, truthfully, but I guess the only sort of hope you can take is the fact that it is still day-to-day assessments. It's still, it could happen. It could turn around quite quickly. So we will see what happens. Zinchenko, on the other hand, is back in training. He is back in training. He was in training today. He will play on Friday. So happy days. People asking why I've got a Portsmouth shirt on. It came in one of those mystery boxes, and I quite like it. It's quite a nice shirt. I think it's from 2 years ago, maybe. I always like a good collar, and look, they're not rivals of Arsenal. They're not in the same league as Arsenal, so I don't have a problem with wearing it. Gav says burn it, so there you go. Rory talks Portsmouth. No, I don't actually have a clue about Portsmouth, other than the league they're in. Who would you want as a backup centre-back? I don't know. Look, there's lots of options. I'm going to watch the... I'm not going to watch the game, but Nathan Wood is playing again tonight for Swansea. It'll be interesting to watch him. There's not that many sort of mid-range options as right centre-backs that I think we can bring in. There are quite a few left-footed options, like Evan Ndika, for example, who's going to go on a free, although he is going to go for crazy wages. But we don't need a left-footed centre-back replacement because we've got Kivior. So I reckon that Rice would massively improve Arsenal due to his consistency. You're not wrong. Out of Rice and Caicedo, I would 100% go Rice. I think he has proper desire, and also I honestly think it helps to have that English contingent in the side. That's coming from Lee, and I don't disagree, but it's interesting. If we get into the stats, the Saliba news is basically it's a day-to-day basis, and the Arsenal have not ruled out playing him next Wednesday against Man City, but the decision has to be made soon because he needs to be brought back into training. Rory, I hope you gave your barber a massive tip. I didn't, but I should have done. I think I gave them a 5% tip. Maybe it should have been 10%. I have an agenda against Rice. I think he's very overhyped and overrated by English people. Look, the English tax is a thing, and I do normally agree with it. I think in the case of Declan Rice, there's a combination of, yes, there's English tax, but also there's West Ham tax, which is he's not been playing in a top side at all whilst he's been at West Ham. And so I think between the two of them, I think it evens out that the ratings that Rice gets are probably quite fair. Caicedo has so much class and gets better every game. Well, and he is younger. So let's get into the stats. So Moises Caicedo, Declan Rice. Age-wise, Caicedo's 21, Rice is 24. So you'd argue that's a tick in Caicedo's box. You could give him a 5-year contract and he'd come out of it at the age of 26, still arguably not even in his prime for a central midfielder. Obviously, both holding midfielders play a similar role. Minutes-wise this season, Caicedo's played 2,440, Rice has played 2,700. So effectively, Rice has played just short of 3 full games more than Caicedo, so it's worth bearing that in mind when we go through the stats. Goals and assists, not that important for a holding midfielder. Caicedo's had 1 goal, 1 assist. Rice has had 2 goals, 2 assists, so pretty even. Clean sheets, obviously important for a holding midfielder. They do make a big impact on clean sheets. Both of them have had 7. But this is where it really gets interesting for me as that sort of midfield piece, especially in a team like Arsenal, where that midfield role is so important. You're such an integral part of everything that we do when we've got the ball, which we have a lot of. So passes, Caicedo's had 1,701, Rice has had 1,720, so almost identical. But of course, Caicedo has played fewer minutes. So Caicedo does have slightly more passes per game. Big chances created, both Caicedo has slightly higher big chances created per game. Pass completion percentage, Caicedo 88.9, Rice 88.1. So Caicedo does have a better pass completion rate. Forward passes, Caicedo 423, Rice 486, whereas backward passes, Caicedo 296 and Rice 193. So Caicedo has a better pass completion rate, but Rice actually passes it forwards more, which tends to be the case. If you're passing it forwards more, it's more likely to be intercepted than if you're passing it backwards. So that adds up. And look, I think you probably in an Arsenal team want someone that's going to pass the ball forwards. But it depends how the two teams build up. And I think Caicedo at Brighton is more comfortable passing the ball backwards. They build up play quite a lot more than West Ham do, especially this season. Through balls, Caicedo 10, Rice 2. So Caicedo definitely prefers a through ball, which is important, I think, with Arsenal breaking those lines, which are difficult to break. Whereas in terms of crosses, Caicedo 10, Rice 40. And that comes a lot from Declan Rice getting into that position on the sort of top left of the box and putting an in-swinging cross in from there. Whereas clearly Caicedo is more interested in knocking the ball around, playing a through ball. So again, within Arsenal setup, I think that probably suits Caicedo. I think Caicedo suits us more than Declan Rice in that sense. Of course, I'm sure Rice could adapt his game if need to. Dispossessed, Caicedo's only been dispossessed 19 times. Rice is 24. So again, slightly more dispossessions of Declan Rice. Goals conceded, 33 for Caicedo, 41 for Rice. So again, fewer goals conceded for Caicedo. Interceptions, 43 for Caicedo, 51 for Rice. So slightly more for Rice. Tackles, 89 for Caicedo, only 68 for Declan Rice. So Caicedo is better, arguably, at tackling. He's won more tackles as well, 47 compared to 33 for Declan Rice. So he has a better completion rate of tackles in terms of the number of tackles he wins compared to the tackles he makes. He wins more. And he makes more of them. So that's impressive. And then clearances, Caicedo 16, Declan Rice 50. So if you're looking at sort of composure in and around the edge of your own area, to me, that says Rice is far more likely to just clear the ball, whereas Caicedo is far more likely to play it out of trouble, which is very important. It's something that we were talking about yesterday with Tierney and Holding compared to Zinchenko and Saliba. They do the basics, they do the safe option in clearing it, but actually that can hamper you. So I like the fact that Moises Caicedo is less likely to do that. So, but based on those stats, to me, I actually think it looks more like Moises Caicedo fits into the style that Arsenal play right now. more so than Declan Rice. Now, I'm sure Declan Rice could adapt. Ross says, think Rice is better suited for quality and versatility, but Caicedo is just the perfect player for Arsenal. Well, that could be the thing. It's and there's a reason that Arsenal were so keen in January, I'm sure. Again, the age thing I think is beneficial. Like Caicedo is 21 years old. His ability to only get better under Mikel Arteta, I think, would be important. Can Rice play the Xhaka role? Yeah, definitely. I think either of them could play the Xhaka role and either of them could play the Partey role, which is why ideally you'd get both of them. I mean, getting both of them would be absolutely perfect. But in terms of, if you're talking about, money wise, both of them could comfortably go for more than 85 million, which makes getting both of them in the same window very, very difficult. I know we're going to spend a lot of money, but Nicholas Bentner says, Rory, can't we just make Partey play the Xhaka role if we sign Rice or Caicedo as a 6? I think it would be the other way around. I think you'd keep Partey as the 6 and Rice or Caicedo would be in the Xhaka role. Bear in mind, Caicedo does play in a better team. Exactly. So you do have to take that into consideration. Caicedo is playing in a much better team at Brighton than Rice is at West Ham. So Rice could definitely level up his game playing in a far better Arsenal team. Ultimately, look, the conclusion is both of them. I mean, those stats are very, very good for both of them. So an ideal world would be both, but I certainly wouldn't be disappointed if we ended up getting Caicedo and not Declan Rice. Although I do think it's more likely we'll get Rice rather than Caicedo. I'd rather Caicedo as an 8 Xhaka role, but I'd rather Rice as a 6. Yeah, I don't disagree. Let's do something fogging. Let's do something fogging special with the staff and generate fogging energy, guys. Oh, that was a bad accent. That was a bad accent. Short-term Rice because of the age, but long-term Caicedo. Yeah, definitely. Brighton will just find another wonder kid from Sri Lanka second tier so they can sell him. Absolutely. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, their scouting. I made a TikTok at the weekend about it. With that Enciso scoring his goal. But look, I think head-to-head, for me, overall, I think maybe Declan Rice wins it. But for Arsenal and our style of play, I think Caicedo wins it. Let's be real. If we only get one player of the two, we'll be improved regardless. Oh, absolutely. Either of them is huge for our midfield. I just think with new contract, his price will be ridiculous. But it can't be that ridiculous. Like, I get what you're saying, but it can't be that ridiculous. And if they hadn't given him a new contract, he'd have gone for far less in the summer. Any more news on that young player from South America? Forgot his name. If you're talking about Vitor Roque, he actually scored a very good goal last night. I was going to talk about him a bit. Vitor Roque, young Brazilian, scored last night. His 5th goal. He's had 5 goals and 2 assists in 5 starts in the league so far this season. Obviously, in South America, the leagues start a lot later, so they're 10 games into the season, I think, something like that. He's been off the bench 5 times and he started 5 times. He totally got 5 goals, 2 assists. If you want to see the goal he scored last night as well, I tweeted it out today. If you go onto my Twitter, I tweeted the goal he scored. It's just a really, really nice goal. I think West Ham will ask for more for Rice than what Rice is worth due to his demand from loads of clubs. Yeah, so we've talked about this before. So the midfielder market, the good thing going into this summer in terms of prices is that the midfielder market is stacked in terms of the number of midfielders that are available this summer. There's a lot of them, which should hopefully stop any crazy prices for these midfielders. So, you've got Gravenberch, you've got Lavia, you've got Onana, you've got Frankie de Jong. There's so many of them. Obviously, teams will have their favourites, but Brighton for top 5 or top 4? I think Brighton will come 5th. The latest on Saliba, mentioned it at the start of the stream. He's still being assessed on a daily basis, and Arsenal still haven't ruled him out of the City game next Wednesday. So he's not going to play on Friday, but there is genuinely still a chance that he plays next Wednesday. But the decision's going to have to be made soon because he's going to have to train properly before that game. Would you take Ruben Neves? I would. He's a very good player, but it's just, I don't know. Something about it just... He's been on the market it for so many summers, it feels like. And he's been on the verge of going to so many big clubs, or Man United normally, but just something about it feels like it should have already happened by now. Big Man Ethan, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Reminder, if you're on TikTok, I'm live on YouTube. Please do click the link in my bio on TikTok. Come over to the YouTube, drop a subscription. We're trying to get to 1,500 subscribers. Would you take James Maddison? No, I wouldn't. He's a great player, James Maddison, but I just don't think he massively upgrades us. I don't think he'd start. It'd be quite a lot of money. I'd rather give Emil Smith-Rowe another chance, or continue to give Emil Smith-Rowe a chance. Mason Mount, not for me. I think Mason Mount will go to Liverpool. Have you seen Robin Lenormand, a right-footed right centre-back, and is very good, would be a great backup to Saliba for around 25 to 30 million? I don't know if I have seen him. Who does he play for? He's not the French guy that plays for Real Sociedad, is he? I'm trying to think who that is. Arteta hit the nail with Odegaard over Matters. Yeah, definitely. James Ward-Prowse, not good enough. He is. Oh, okay. So my international knowledge isn't completely washed. Look, I've never seen him play. Truthfully, I've never seen him play, but clearly we need an upgrade at right centre back, right? Ideally, you want someone that suits Arsenal's style. It needs to be realistically, right? If Gabriel's going to be your enforcer at left centre back, then similarly to Saliba, your right centre back is going to need to be a faster, more agile centre back that can play that sweeper role that Saliba plays so well. To me, I mean, that Nathan Wood guy at Swansea again. Apparently, he is a fast player. Kura asked, wasn't we getting Ndika? Well, we were interested in him for a while. I think he's going to Borussia Dortmund. He's a left-footed left centre-back. So once we got Kivior, I think that ruled out Ndika anyway. He's going to go on a free, but apparently his agents want like 200 grand a week or something crazy. So can I ask who's your favourite Ardens player? I don't know who Ardens are. Would you want Saliba to play in versus City, but for him to be out for the... No, absolutely not. We can't risk losing Saliba for any portion of next season to try and beat City at the Etihad. Rory, would you take a draw at the Etihad even if we went 2-0 up? Yeah, I mean, if we went 2-0 up, it would be very annoying to end up drawing again. But right here, right now, would I take a draw at the Etihad? Absolutely. Do you think Mudryk would be doing better at Arsenal right now than he is at Chelsea? I do. I think he'd have more confidence. He'd be playing in a better team. There would be less pressure on him. I do think he'd be playing better. Bit of a random shout, but wouldn't mind Joachim Andersen from Palace as a backup to Saliba. I agree, although I don't know if he's capable of playing that sweeper role. I really do like Andersen, though. And the balls he can play over the top are phenomenal. Loan Vieira next season and play Smith-Rowe in that Odegaard role. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Sorry, that last one was autocorrect. Oh, if you meant Arsenal, I honestly don't have a favourite Arsenal player right now. I just can't pick. It's impossible to pick. Loan Vieira, we said that one. Experiment Smith-Rowe in the Xhaka role. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen that more. Truthfully, I'm surprised we've not seen Smith-Rowe for Xhaka more. I don't know if it's a height thing, a size thing. Mudryk would also be playing in a team that he wanted to play in, so automatically his performance would be better, potentially, yeah. Vieira needs to hop onto the Bayern fitness program. Yeah, I mean, they claimed that that Vieira had really bulked up, but I haven't seen it myself yet. But look, for those of you that missed it, Zinchenko is training. He was training today. Should be absolutely fine for Southampton, so that's big. The problem with Rule Walters, for me, is that it's such a gamble on his career if you throw him into the title race. I think the time to do it was some of the dead rubber games earlier in the season, Brighton in the League Cup. Games like that, I wouldn't have minded seeing him. But now, like, people don't forgive and forget that easily. And if he makes a mistake, people will hound him for it. I mean, even the fact that when Rob Holding was coming back into the side immediately after Saliba's injury, people kept talking about the red card he got at Tottenham last year. People don't forget things. And I think having that hanging over you at the age of 18, I just don't know if it's worth the risk. Vieira's left-footed as well. Wouldn't he do well in the Xhaka role? Yeah, but if you look at the players that we're talking about replacing Granit Xhaka, They don't necessarily have to be left-footed. If it was Declan Rice, for example. Loving the grasping at straws by Keane, Ferdinand, and other United legends. Scared where Arsenal are trying to knock them down. Oh, definitely, definitely. They hate it. Those, especially that generation. Keane, Ferdinand, Gary Neville. Obviously, Keane was slightly before it, but they hate Arsenal. They absolutely hate Arsenal. I love Holding, but he just ain't a 90-minute player for me. Great to shore. Yeah, Rob Holding is a 5 at the back, shut up shop. Final 10 minutes defender, and he was used for that before, and it was good. He's not what we need at the moment. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player's career path without the Arsenal part in it, so you don't know if they're currently at Arsenal, if they started at Arsenal, and you have to guess who it is. The first person to guess it in the YouTube chat gets immense credit and pride from the whole community. And also, if TikTok can try and beat the YouTube chat to it, then that's always a W for them. If you're on TikTok, head over to the YouTube link in my bio if you want to get involved, and we'll get into it. So this player is not a lot. It's not a long career path. Again, doesn't include the Arsenal segment of their career. Stuttgart, Bayer Leverkusen, Fulham. Stuttgart, Bayer Leverkusen, Fulham. And George has got it first. George has got it first. He spelt it completely wrong, but I know what he's going for. TikTok have got it as well. It was quite an easy one. It was indeed Bernd Leno. He was panicking. George was panicking. He typed in Lenny, but I know he meant Leno. Congratulations to George. The pride is with George. It was quite an easy one. It was quite an easy one today, but well done, George. Everyone congratulate him in the chat. Well done, TikTok. I think TikTok, actually, someone might have got it first on TikTok. But it is a George W for today. No back-to-back for Ross, unfortunately for him. It is Leno. And now for the non-Arsenal player. So this is a full career path of a player that has never played for Arsenal. So this player started at Man City. They went to Newcastle, QPR, Marseille on loan, Burnley, Rangers, and then back to Burnley. So Man City, Newcastle, QPR, Marseille on loan. Someone's got it on. Kieran is the first person to get it on YouTube. Lots of people have got it in the TikTok chat as well. I don't need to continue, but Kieran Treadwell, pat on the back for you. He gets it first on YouTube. It is indeed the one and only Joey Barton. One of the biggest shithouses in footballing history. Remember that loan to Marseille where he went out there and just started putting on a French accent in all of his interviews? Unbelievable. Didn't bother to learn French so that he could answer the questions in French. Just put on a French accent and spoke in English. Unbelievable. I'm wearing a Portsmouth shirt because it's just one of those mystery shirts. Updates on Zinchenko and Saliba, George. Zinchenko is back in training today, so he is going to be fine for Southampton. Saliba is being judged on a day-by-day basis. Obviously, he was in the gym yesterday. There is still a chance he plays against Man City a week today, but he will have to be back in training shortly. That's what we all do on holiday. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if I go on holiday, absolutely. To be fair, it's normally one that you don't even realize you're doing it either. You just go into that really slow, broken English that actually, it normally makes it harder for the person you're talking to understand what you're saying. Saliba has to play against City if we want to win the league. Yeah, but it's whether or not you want to risk. It's whether or not you want to risk him. That's the problem. Are you happy now that we got Trossard instead of Mudryk, considering the price? I mean, yeah. I still think there is a player in Mudryk, though. Even last night, he ended up blazing the shot over the bar. But the way he touched it down, the ball sort of came over his shoulder, perfect control, nipped away rapidly from two players. Like, there is a player there. He's just very raw. How much do you think we get for Sambi if we were to sell him? Like 15 at a push if you find someone that really wants him. Nothing beats Steve McLaren with the Dutch accent after 6 months at FC20. That is also peak. That was also a classic. Nketiah or Balogun? I think we're going to end up keeping Nketiah and selling Balogun just because Balogun doesn't want to have to compete, which is unfortunate. Do you think we should sell Tierney? I kind of do. But the thing is, I don't want to sell him to a Premier League club. But I look at the game even against West Ham. I think if we're going to stick to the system that we play, we need Zinchenko's backup needs to be someone that's molded to play that sort of inverted midfielder role. No, I'm not from Portsmouth. I'm not from Portsmouth. Lots of questions about the Portsmouth shirt. It is literally just one of the mystery box shirts, and I quite like it. We need De Ligt to crunch Haaland and a few others, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, Man City have literally got 0 injuries at this point. Unbelievable. Your defense is in trouble. And get in the room. Sam Raymond, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Hassam Alwar on a free if we can only get Rice or Caicedo. Yeah, Alwar's an interesting one. We were linked to him for about 4 years in a row. It never happened, and he's never kicked on to the potential that I think he had. Obviously, I think didn't Leon kick him out of the team for basically they thought he'd become radicalized or something because he was taking religion more seriously. But either way, I don't think it's something that we should go for. I don't think Arsenal should sign Caicedo because I don't think he is worth the price. What do you think? I think he could be worth the price. I think the performances he's putting in that Brighton team at 21 years old, like at that age, playing that role in the Premier League is very difficult. I think it's easier as a 21-year-old. I think it's easier to play as a fullback or a winger. To play as like that central holding midfield role, I think it takes a lot of talent, and I think he could be worth that money for what you could get out of him over a 5 or 10-year period. Do we play our normal game against City or change the style? I think we play our normal game. It's worked for us this season. Reece Nelson leaving, what's your opinion? I think he might leave. There's lots of people that want him for free. And it sounds like we might be bringing in Zaha on a free as a replacement. Do you think we'll break our transfer record this summer? Yeah. I absolutely think we'll break the transfer record this summer. For who? I don't know. Probably either Rice or Caicedo. But I think either of them go for more than we bought Pepe for. Rory, do you think that we massively need to strengthen in the summer for times like these, or just a few but big signings? Well, I think 3 or 4 big signings, you're at a point then where you've really got a stacked bench as well as a stacked team, as long as you don't have multiple injuries in the same position. And you can't really ever, other than buying versatile players, which is what we've done, and it's crucial that we keep buying versatile players. Outside of that, if you get two injuries in the exact same position, especially if it's on either flank, there's not a lot you can do about that. You just have to deal with it. You can't really prepare for that by making signings. So I really do hope Zaha is not coming, and it's all false for a signing to go under the radar like Vieira or Kivior. Yeah, I'd be surprised if we did get Zaha, truthfully, but you never know. If Saliba can only play 2 games for the rest of the season, what games would you pick? City and Newcastle away, 100%. Why do you think we're unable to sit back and defend a lead? I just don't think it suits a lot of the players that we've got now, and I don't think a lot of the players. Every game this season we've not really sat back at all, so it's almost like it's not in their DNA at this point to do it. Does the front three of Anthony, Rashford, and Kane scare the Prem? Look, I don't think it would be a bad front three. I'm still not sold on Anthony. Zaha would bring a bad attitude and would ruin the team. Yeah, I think the attitude thing, I think, is a bit overdone. He does sulk, and that is a problem. But also, I think within that Palace team, he gets frustrated a lot. So I can kind of understand both sides of it. Why do you think Arteta makes subs and sort of just throws on attackers? I don't know. It's interesting that he didn't against Bournemouth. He didn't really do that. I thought his subs against Bournemouth were spot on when we needed to come back. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I think he's learning on the job. Some of it is learning on the job. That is the truth. Mikel wouldn't take him if his attitude's poor, or if he didn't think he could sort Zaha's attitude, he wouldn't take him. Can Maitland-Niles play as an inverted left back for backup? I think he could, but I don't think he ever will. I think he'll be gone in the summer. The majority of our players are very young or on an unexpected title challenge, so it was kind of inevitable that we would drop off eventually. Yeah, but you're right, but I also don't think we're dropping off. The performances aren't dropping off in the first half an hour. complacent. And Ketia should leave this summer. He might do. Striker. I mean, if we brought in Vitor Roque, for example, happens. Arteta's way of playing is to make his opponents play the way he wants them to. Yeah, absolutely. City against Bayern tonight. Predictions. My prediction for City Bayern tonight is 2-1 to Man City. 2-1 to Man City, and I think it'll be I think it'll be a boring game. And I'm actually probably going to watch Benfica against Inter Milan. Who's your favourite out of Tom, Reeve, and Theo? Picking favourites is hard, but picking favourites is hard, isn't it? Tom was digging me out on Twitter yesterday for the mascot thing. So not Tom, because he was digging me out and he was wrong. I'll probably say Reeve. I'd say Reeve. Who's your favourite you met on AFTV? Who is my favourite that I met on AFTV? Again, very difficult to pick favourites. I spoke a lot to Kwame. He's a really nice guy. How are you feeling about the Newcastle fixture? Before the Villa game, I was really concerned about the Newcastle game because they were on a good run of form. But now I'm like, maybe you can catch them out. It's definitely going to be a very, very difficult game. But I do think we can go there and get a win if we play at our best. 3-1 Bayern, but City still go through. I don't think it'll be that exciting. I'd like that. Oh, well, no, I'd like Bayern to make a full comeback. But have you got a Southampton ticket? No, not yet. I wanted Rory Qualms and Turkish, and I got it. You did indeed. And you'll get it again for the Man City game. Thoughts on Napoli going out of the UCL? Really unexpected. I did not expect Napoli to go out last night whatsoever. Well, not last night. I didn't expect them to go out overall in the tie. I mean, I had them getting to the final. I met Turkish in Harlow. Nice guy. Yeah, very nice. You think Saliba will be back? No, Saliba is not back for Friday. 100% not back for Friday. He might make it back for next Wednesday against City, but they're assessing it on a daily basis. Would prefer City to qualify so they have the semis. Yeah, that is true. I do want them to go through. Look, you never want to hope for injuries, but if I did see Erling Haaland limping off tonight, I wouldn't cry about it. Can we get a result against City with Saliba? Yeah, we can. We can get a result against City without Saliba. That's the truth. We can. If we turn up and play our best, we can get a result at City without Saliba. It's unlikely, but we can do it. Who wins the UCL, do you think? Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid will do it. Would you let City win the CL as long as we win the Prem? Yeah. I would take them winning the Champions League and us winning the Premier League. But look, that is going to end the YouTube stream. Obviously, there wasn't as much news today. Not a lot of news came out. Zinchenko is in training, which is great. He'll play on Friday. Saliba's taking it day by day. Declan Rice or Moises Caicedo, let me know in the comments who you would prefer. And other than that, have a fantastic evening. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. tomorrow for the Southampton preview. So we'll have the full preview for the Southampton game tomorrow at 5. Have a fantastic evening. Enjoy the football if you're watching it. Enjoy the sunshine if you've got it. And I'll catch you all tomorrow. Goodbye.